All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the graduation ceremony for the class of 2022. All of you, so glad to see all of you online right now. And we also have a very distinguished guest, Allen, with us, who will be delivering the keynote speech. So to start off today's ceremony, let's welcome Rebecca Young, the VIP International Chapter Chief Investment Officer, for some opening remarks. Rebecca, please.
Thanks, Mrs. Yeah, so hi everyone. Like to start off by wishing everyone a happy graduation. All of you have worked really hard, exceptionally hard over the past 2 years. And at least for me, Z Club was one of the first places where I learned what investing even was. And I remember from the start, like just being very wowed by everyone. Like I think some of you were like me, like we didn't have a lot of investing experience, but some of you had more experience under your belt. And like along with it, you guys had some really valuable perspectives and questions that came from your experience investing. But I think the common thing about us was that everyone was here, everyone was present, and everyone was really ready and willing to share and learn. And I'm really grateful for Tiffany and Shinya's vision back when they selected all of us, all of you guys, from the pool of applicants. It's quite evident that y'all were handpicked for your unique strengths, your backgrounds, and also like moving ahead, your goals, and your passion for investing. And I remember, at the very start, from learning your names and learning your faces every weekend, and then to reading like each one of your manga reflections, and attending meet the investor sessions together, and like sitting through your stock pitches, your industry research presentations. I've learned like so much from every one of you. You guys have really motivated me to learn and better myself, as an investor or just as a teammate. And I think especially investing, and especially the kind of investing that we do as a club and we want to kind of train ourselves in, that kind of investing, it needs a lot of perspectives and it needs a lot of friction. And we benefit so much from having each other, and it makes our ideas better. It makes it trains our thinking in a way that I think I might not have been able to do on my own. So I'm really thankful that you guys also gave me a chance to be in a position to organize activities and to run the club. A lot of the new initiatives that we pushed out, it was to try and give everyone more opportunities to showcase yourself and the hard work that you did. But at the end of the day, none of it would have been a success without you guys's like support and participating. So thank you for stepping up, as some of you as well, for mentors, like as mentors, for teams during the boot camps, for being, just all of you for being willing to give back to the community. And another thing is also like thank you guys for showcasing Z Club so positively to external people, by every meet the investor sessions where you showed up and you engaged in discussions, you helped prove the value that the club brings, and you helped prove this to so many professionals, and it's brought in so much more support for the club, and that helps the club get better and better. Yeah, so I think to each of the teams, I really enjoyed learning and working with you guys, and also just seeing the process of your hard work come into fruition. It's been a huge privilege to be in my position, and thank you for giving me so much support, and playing supporting each other as well within your teams. Every discussion, every memo, every presentation. I hope this experience has been extremely rewarding, and I hope that you've built very valuable lasting friendships as well within the team, and with your seniors and juniors. So moving ahead, also envisioning a lot of new things ahead for you guys, and especially through the Alumni Association. I've always believed that the value of Z Club is the community, and like this idea that once you join Z Club and once you become an investor, it's for life, right? It's you becoming a lifelong investor. So the club is getting better and better every year. We're bringing in so many talented and very passionate people, and I think it's going to be very meaningful to keep expanding this network of Z Club members who all came into the community, all went through the same thing, and then every year like we get new feedback, and then we continue to kind of feed back into this community, and then everyone plays a part in building it, and then so to be able to continue to hold stake and have a sense of ownership in its future, I think that's really valuable. So I'd really love to maintain a lot of the relationships that I built with you guys. So I really look forward to seeing you guys, just seeing you around in our network, or online or offline. That's something that's really exciting moving forward. So this is not the end. Yeah, so and I can also see that yeah, so to kind of wrap up, I know that there's a lot of really exciting segments that are lined up next. So without further ado, I'll just pass the time to Ellen. But just to finish off, yeah, once again, congratulations everyone. I wish you guys all the best for whatever you choose to do moving forward, and I hope you enjoy your graduation ceremony.
Wow, thank you so much, Rebecca. And now let's hand over the time to Allen, who also sits on the board of directors of Next Gen Investors Endowment, for his keynote speech. Allen, please.
Yeah, thanks. Can you guys hear me? Okay. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Okay. Well, thanks, Rebecca. Yeah, Rebecca is the Chief Investment Officer for the club and writes her commentary on LinkedIn, Substack, and I have a lot of access to many people's view, and I was impressed by the thoughts she expressed. I have to say, this is a top-notch club, and Rebecca's knowledge is a testament to how the quality of the education this club has been providing. Taking a step back, it's been almost 2 years since I got involved in this wonderful venture. Tiffany and I met virtually in Oxford at the beginning, and then we were both interested in investment, and I was very happy with the ESG, and then they introduced me to Xinya, and I started reading the manga. I was like, that's wonderful, and I like Xinya's favorite quote. We needed some extra move to move people from a 0 to 1 from an investment interest perspective, and then once people get to 1, they can find their paths, their own paths, go from 1 to 100. And I'm a numbers guy. I never thought the number 0, 1, and 100, such simplistic number, can be that powerful. Usually my number is 3.68, something like that. But thank you very much for getting me involved. At the beginning, I always thought, hey, what is this Z Club? Is this a club? It feels that way because it's somewhat exclusive, and you're all from the best universities. You're one of the best educated people. And or is this a school? I mean, certainly we're teaching something. I remember the day we spoke to a CFA Hong Kong about, hey, what can we start joint efforts on educating people and in the right way on investment. And certainly it's a school, but then I realized it's far beyond that. This is not just a club like any other club, and there was membership. This is not just a school. When you graduate and you forget most of it, but you still hang out with people from time to time. This is a community, and this is a place that people should take advantage of the opportunity when they're here, and then foster a long-term relationship and long-term partnership for the rest of their career. Because one thing about investment is there is no finality, there's no finishing point about when is the end. There's no end. Everything is about the beginning. You have to renew yourself. We lived through 12 or 13 or 14 years of quantitative easing, all the new paradigm people have been talking about. All of a sudden, COVID happened, a shock to the market, shock to the system. Everything is brand new. Everybody needs to relearn what they have learned. The biggest and most frustrating part of the portfolio management community as of today is people think they know a lot of things, but actually they don't. The knowledge they have accumulated over 30, even 40 years of their career, witnessing multiple credit cycles, actually does not prepare them at all for any of the near-term market movement, to unexplain the geopolitical aggression, to unexplain the volatility in certain corner of the markets. So the point is, it's always learning. Investment is about constant learning. You never stop, you never rest. So in that way, I think this is not even the end of anything. This is part of the beginning of the recognition that investment requires lifelong learning. So it's a community that we all should take advantage of it from today after we graduate. The second thing is beyond a community, it's an ecosystem, because oftentimes I think there's a sort of view, a cynical view about what investment industry, investment profession has been doing or has not been doing. So we borrow the terms from nuclear physicists, things like a decay factor, half-life, Monte Carlo simulation. It made us sound very sophisticated, quantification of all the uncertainty. The reality is we're not really even at the starting point of putting science into the investment world. One of the criticism of the society is when the financial service remunerates people so much better than any other industry, it draws the talent. But the problem is financial service is inherently encouraging herding behavior. Everybody try to beat the benchmark slightly, tell a different story, slightly differentiating themselves, but not really doing the hard work of, okay, what about the climate change? What about the science component of it? Can we actually understand the company we invest in? So people think that Apple is a large cap value, a large cap stock is easier to understand than cryptocurrency. Think again, just because you understand the price chart movement of Apple does not mean you understand anything about Apple. Do we understand the supply chain risk in the Zhenzhou plant in Apple? Do we understand why Tim Cook is controlling the cost of certain components? Do we understand what's the impact on the Korean peninsula and on the Taiwan semiconductor simply because of the one component is missing? So we don't understand all of that, right? So the idea is we have to work together to bring all the knowledge together. And we need an ecosystem that combines three parts, which is the inspiration I got from CFA UK when we designed the curriculum for climate investing. We need the investment piece for sure, the private market, the public market, go beyond the fundamental research, earning, the announcement, things like that, quality. But also we need to understand the private market, the pre-IPO stage, because oftentimes there's a lot more money in the system now. The companies stay private for much longer than before. And 3 years ago, the United States published a report that for the first time in history, there are more private companies than public companies. Imagine that. The investment universe, as we know, is not what it used to be at all. So the private market coverage is also really important to understand it. And so that's the first component of the ecosystem, which is the investment knowledge piece, public and private market. The second part will be the science piece, right? So how many people really understand how to calculate, imply the temperature rising, global sea level warming? So we heard that from a corporate responsibility standpoint, even a little bit from an ESG perspective, the ESG rating, there's things like that. But can one person walk us through, okay, from end to end, from an engineering standpoint, how do you measure carbon emission? What assumptions are involved? How do we extrapolate? What time of the day we do that? No, we don't have that education, right? So we need that bring that into the ecosystem, so for everybody can actually understand. There's so many people from the science community joining the investment community for obviously financial reasons, but we hardly see anybody go the other way, go from a financial service industry back to science, back to the hard science, back to those things that actually might matter to the humanity, the quality of life. So that's the second piece. We need to combine them all together. So actually so investment industry can re-earn its reputation to grow, to help push for a better life together. And the third piece will be, the third component of the knowledge ecosystem will be the regulation piece, the policy. And the policy regulation is a misleading term. Most people think of policy regulation as some kind of a constraint, what you cannot do. The regulator will stop you or shut you down, things like that. But in reality, there are two components in there. One is the policy. The Inflation Reduction Act in the United States, we have $369 billion subsidy for clean hydrogen. So sometimes policy is an incentive, not a constraint. So it's very important to understand that a lot of the opportunity come from the policy. A lot of the opportunity in the global macro sense come from regulatory arbitrage. If the privacy regulation in the United States is more lax than the privacy regulation in the European Union, we should take advantage of that. So that's the third piece of the knowledge, that people think upon regulation sits with compliance, sits with the back office, sits with a lawyer. But the reality is regulatory intelligence can be quickly turned into product intelligence that understand the word better, understand where everybody is coming from. And besides, we all need to understand that the stakeholder. Investment ultimately is about company. Company is about solving a problem. Solving a problem ultimately is about understanding the stakeholder. And then there is a role for policymaker to be involved in the collaboration. So that would be my view of what this club is going to do. It provides a community and an ecosystem for knowledge. I will encourage everybody to get that. And then next thing I want to talk about, I guess, is in terms of knowledge. And there's no rule that commencement speech is only me talking to you guys about what I felt, what you should feel. We can give assignment. And this will be your last assignment. And then you think about, okay, there's so many people talk about, okay, we have a paradigm shift. We have ended all the quantitative easing. The fiscal stimulus is getting out of control. Is 2% inflation the long-term inflation number, or should we go with 3%? Is the inflation, do we need to look at the quality, the driver of the inflation, the good inflation, bad inflation, and also the geopolitical risk? Is the supply chain movement permanently moving away from China, or where do they go? And the renewable energy push, clean hydrogen, are they here to stay, or they're just a temporary phenomenon? So I would challenge all of you. You all read all the news article about investment banks, about all the things doing that. I think what we challenge all of you to think about, what will be the long-term trend that will be here to stay from 5 years now? You know, electric vehicle is not something you can write about because everybody knows about it. So that would disqualify if you want to think about that. You have to think about all the stuff you read and tell us that what will be the permanent trend? What will be the trend that will stick in 5 years of time? So that will make you think, because that's how my father trained me when I was, 1999, when I was 16 years old. My dad told me, hey, you have to write like a 20 largest events in the 20th century and things like that, and make you to summarize what you have witnessed. So I would challenge you guys to do the same thing, because it's a rare opportunity. If we graduated 2 years ago or 3 years ago, we were still in the middle of this long-term QE. Everybody was searching for the catalyst of the major movement, all of that. And then we're still debating, is the value of growth rotation ever gonna reverse? Yeah, but now we're actually at the place where there's stuff happening, trends is actually shifting. So please take advantage of that, what a special moment you are in, and you start thinking, and then let us know what you think the trend should be. Okay, lastly, I'll finish it out, I'll wrap it up with the 3 numbers. Because I'm a numbers guy. My first finance professor is Israeli, and then he told me if I can summarize everything with 3 numbers, I disqualify myself from any further discussion. So I'll give you 3 numbers. 8%. 8% is the actual assumption rate for U.S. pension fund. So back 30 years ago, you think about the 8%, and U.S. Treasury was yielding 7%, and then the required return rate is 8%. That means you can put 90% of your money into treasury, and then 10%, the rest of 10% you can take risk and plug in a gap, right? So 8% was the hurdle. And fast forward, what would be the year that yield now? It's 2 or 3%. It was even lower at one point. So in order to get the same 8% required return, we have to take a much, much more active risk and to get there. So investment matters a lot more than today, than 30 years ago. That is the reason, the story behind 8%. The second number what we're going to talk about is 30%. Obviously, we're all involved in ESG, environmental, social, and governance. In the United States, the biggest topic for ESG is equality. 30%, meaning 30% club. The idea is to promote female representation at the board of director and chief executive level. So we can FTSE 100 company can have 30% of female representation at the top leadership level. So the reason why we have such a goal, and you think about 30% is the goal for female to get that representation, but guess what would the educational attainment number for the female versus the male? Actually, female have more than 50% of the higher educational degree. So the gap is huge. There's a lot of work needs to be done. So in order for us to further grow the investment industry, respecting diversity, not just the gender diversity, but thought diversity is very critical for the sustainability of this profession. So remember the number 30%. The third number I wanted to mention is 3%. That's a sad number. The reason why that is for the ESG space. And then one of the key debates is about carbon tax. And how we get carbon tax. Carbon tax is basically a capture of a carbon cost. How do you measure carbon cost? For those of you who study the quantitative finance, the carbon cost is basically the total amount of damage that will happen in 50 or 30 years, and then discount it back to the present value. It's an NPV value function with a risk, a terminal risk. So when Barack Obama became the president, he used the discount rate of 3%, and then he calculated the social cost of carbon about $45 per ton. And when Mr. Trump became the president, and he used 7% discount rate, which essentially significantly lowered the carbon cost, social carbon cost. And then finally, when Joe Biden became the president, and he basically moved the number back, now we are again having 3% discount rate to calculate social cost of carbon. So the point is, don't take anything for granted. So policy comes and go, all these initiatives come and go. There's a political motivation that can slow down progress significantly, or you can take ourselves backwards by generations. So stick to the opportunity, seize the opportunity. We're having an important time at the moment that 3% is reflection of a recognition that we need to deal with the climate crisis. We need to be honest about the discount rate. We need to have a policy, sensible policy, to incentivize people to move to a renewable energy, more sustainable society. So that will be the number we have to remember. Since we're all investment people, we have always tried to tell a story with a number. Otherwise, it's all emotion. We all know what emotion really is to interpret in the CFA curriculum, heuristic bias, anchoring bias, or whatever it is. But we do have to have emotion when we try to drive the planet for the better future. So lastly, I want to say, the famous quote, money never sleeps. That's true. That's 1980 Wall Street, right? No, money never sleeps, because especially in the global sense, in the running of global hedge fund, money never sleeps. But why don't you remember the other part, which is impact never rests? Because this is about impact. This is about the future. This is about your own future. This is about the future of your fellow generation. This is about the future of the whole planet. If we do it right, we can make an impact. Thank you. Don't forget the assignment. Okay. Thank you.
Wow, thank you, Allen, for that very, very insightful and inspiring speech. Right now, we will move on to student reflections. So we have two students as a representative of the 2022 cohort to share their reflections on the past 2 years in the club. First of all, let's welcome Zhang Kai, who is the Greater China Chapter co-chair. Zhang Kai, please.
Okay, thank you, Persis. Can you hear me?
Yes,
okay, sure.
Yes.
Okay, first of all, thank you a lot for such a great opportunity to share some of my experiences and feelings at this time. And first of all, it's great to see everyone in such a period. And congratulations to everyone. And we have all done a very great job in the past 2 years. And how time flies. I think as for myself, I still remember 2 years ago, I joined the club and started to learn investment from viewing mangas. And for myself, I think the club is really a gateway for me to enter the investment world, and it's really opened a fresh new world, a whole fresh new world for myself. And from there, I started to learn about the investment as an analyst and try to review some performance of specific companies and specific stocks. And it's the first time for me to realize that the investment was so close to our daily life. And I think it's important and it aroused lots of my interests. As time goes by, I was promoted to the PM, and I started to track some trends and try to decipher the developments of specific industries. And I think that's the next level of thinking. And from then, we gradually learn how to think as investors and how to act as investors, and that's all I think really important. And later in this year, I was lucky to be promoted as the CIO of the Greater China chapter and joining the leadership group. And I think it's a great new area for me, and I started to try to understand how markets works, and try to learn how to manage a portfolio and think from a much more macro ways. And I think that's all the great learning experiences for me. And on the other side, as for our club, I think we are all the witness of our club as our communities grew larger and larger. And earlier this year, we also finished and conducted a structural reform of our club. And thanks to all your people's help and the support from management committee, we finally finished the restructure agenda. And although lots of things still need to be done, but we got quite successful and smooth leadership transformation, and I believe they are going to do great jobs in the next year. And another thing I want to thank you all about is our scholarship program. I think that's really show our social responsibilities, and it's keep running shows like we really try to feed back something to our societies, and that's really great things. Oh, I think for me that's in a nutshell, I can say all of us has done great jobs, and thanks so much for everyone's support here. And as just Allen said, investment is a lifelong learning experiences, and it's just the start, but not beginning. But not the ending. So let's stay in touch, and hope we can learn from each other.
All right. Thank you, Zhang Kai. I believe there is some network connection issues. All right, so I think we can move on to the next student, and that would be Zheng Qing, who is a portfolio manager of Team Spring under VIP International Chapter. So Zheng Qing, please take it away.
Can you hear me?
Yes, can hear you.
Okay, so first of all, congrats everyone for graduating. It's been, I think around 2 years. So maybe I just give some sharing. So I joined Z Club a little more than 2 years ago, and the club was quite different back then. The structure and the way the club has changed quite a bit since then. So throughout my 2 years with the club, I met many like-minded people who are passionate and have a deep interest in investing, and even more importantly, continuous learning. My journey was very fulfilling, and I learned a great deal over the past 2 years. What I love about the club is that I can learn not only from other members who come from different backgrounds and nationalities, but also from industry professionals during the Meet the Investors session. The Meet the Investors sessions were especially impressionable on me because the invited speakers were investment professionals who shared real-life experiences and advice for us, which is very valuable and definitely something not other clubs have. I was also very lucky to join the session with Dennis Hong from Shaw Spring in real life a while ago, which is a different experience totally from the ones conducted over Zoom over the past 2 years. I've also learned a lot from that session and took away many valuable lessons. Another memorable part of my 2-year journey was the manga reading. I still remember the weekly chapters from Investor Z manga that all of us had to read and share our learnings during our weekly session. I think it was over 3 months. And I still remember the week, and I remember how we had to read, I think, 20 chapters a week, which was quite a lot, but I think I enjoyed it. And I really appreciate the effort Shinya and Tiffany put in to incorporate key investing lessons in the manga and to make the learning much more interesting. The club has also given me many opportunities to present my ideas through both stock pitches and sector reviews, which also helped me to develop my presentation skills and also helped me to develop how to convey my ideas succinctly and effectively. I was also fortunate to become the PM for Team Spring, which has allowed me to work with my team to contribute to the club. It was also to contribute to the club. And as a PM, I was given the opportunity to vet through the ideas suggested by the team and also offer my opinions to improve the value contributed to the club for the stock during the stock pitches by my team. The time of my membership has also coincided with uniquely interesting time in the markets. So especially I joined, I think in August 2020, which was when COVID really happened and the markets was still recovering. And it was an amazing bull market over the past 2 years until this year, which was a bear market. So it's actually quite rare to have such a period in such a condensed time period. So a bull market and a bear market in about two years plus. So it's really very interesting time to be in a club like this and know what everyone thinks and how investment professionals view the market conditions. So the club definitely has taught me how to become a better investor and made me more committed to lifelong learning. I would like to especially thank Shinya and Tiffany for giving me the opportunity to be part of this club and all the effort that both of you have put into this club to make it a success. I think I speak for everyone when I say that we have definitely benefited a lot from this club over the past 2 years, and it has changed our lives for the better in one way or another. I hope that Z Club will continue to grow and further its success so that more students around the world can benefit from and learn about investing and also forge fulfilling friendships with like-minded people with different backgrounds around the world. And with that, thank you once again to my team, Shinya and Tiffany and Rebecca for leading the club. Yeah, that's all.
Thank you so much, Zhengqing. So right now we have a throwback video for all of you. So sit back and enjoy.
I close my eyes and I can see a world that's waiting up for me, that I call my own. Through the dark, through the door, through where no one's been before, but it feels like home. They can say it all sounds crazy. They can say I've lost my mind. I don't care, so call me crazy. We can live in a world that we design. 'Cause every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. Oh, a million dreams for the world we're gonna make. There's a house we can build. Every room inside is filled with things from far away. The special things I compile, each one there to make you smile on a rainy day. They can say it all sounds crazy. They can say we've lost our minds.
All right, hope you enjoyed that video. So now we will be moving on to the awards ceremony. So before we present the awards, let's just take a look at how both the international chapter and the Greater China chapter portfolios have performed in the last 2 years. So first, this is the international chapter portfolio. As we can see, there are currently 2 companies on the list, Alibaba and Sony, and the IC is still holding a huge cash position. Both stocks are currently trading at below cost, and we have definitely seen huge swings in the stock value from 2020 to 2022. The good news is that although the portfolio is suffering a negative year-to-date return, it is suffering a small loss as compared to the MSCI World Index for 2022. And overall, we can see a positive return for international chapters portfolio since inception. And this is the Greater China portfolio. And we see a little bit more activity over here. The GC has a lower cash holding and a wide range of stocks from various industries, such as tech, where they have Tencent Music Entertainment, Apple, China Mobile, the consumer, such as JD.com and Meituan, transport and logistics, such as Delta Airlines and ZTO Express, even solar technology like LONGi Green Energy, just to name a few. In fact, the GC also sold off Auto Biodiagnostics sometime this year. Similar to the international chapters portfolio, there are major swings in the year-to-date return in 2020 and 2021. Also, similarly, the GC is suffering slightly less than the MSCI World Index for 2022's year-to-date. Overall, we also still see a positive return for Greater China's portfolio since inception. So we hope that this quick trip down memory lane has brought you back lovely memories with your monthly portfolio meetings and your rigorous research and debates on the stocks that you hold. So we will now move on to the awards ceremony. First up, we will be presenting certificates of distinction. And right here, we have 4 candidates. Zhang Kai, the VIP Greater China Chapter Co-Chair and Co-CIO. Next, we'll be presenting the certificate of distinction to Carlson, also the VIP Greater China Chapter Co-Chair and Co-CIO. Next, we will present the certificate of distinction to Bill, the VIP Greater China Chapter Sector Lead of Zhou Qi Dianxing Automobile and New Energy Sector. And finally, the certificate of distinction to Zheng Qing, the VIP International Chapter Portfolio Manager of Team Spring. Moving on to the certificates of merit. So first we have Demi, the VIP Greater China Chapter Sector Lead of Fulian Wang, the Internet Sector. Moving on, we will present the certificate of merit to Gladys, the VIP International Chapter Assistant Portfolio Manager of Team Spring. Third, we present the certificate of merit to Ivan, the VIP International Chapter member of Team Spring. And finally, we present the certificate of merit to Yu Yang, the VIP International Chapter Assistant Portfolio Manager of Team Viva. And right now, we will invite Shinya Diguchi to make some comments on the Alumni Association that you can look forward to. Shinya, please.
Hi, everyone. Well, congratulations again for your accomplishment. And you look very different from the day we met for the first time. You have a lot more experiences. You learned the joy of investing. And then some of you really, they pursued your investment career as well. Whether or not you become professional, the investment professionals or not, please continue your investor's journey. In order for you, can you hear me?
Yes, it's good now.
Yeah, you broke down temporarily, but now it seems like you're back.
Okay, sorry, the connection is pretty bad here, but anyway, so we establish alumni associations so that you can continue engage with our members, even after your graduations, and we appreciate your participation as well. And then hope we are, the setting up the solutions and then the system that will benefit you as well. So one of the key features of the club is a meet investor sessions. Right? We make a lot of efforts to bring investment professionals to speak and then share their experiences with you. This is very important, and then I think this is very impactful for you. Then you will realize that if you are no and then join
Let us wait for a few minutes for Shinya to reconnect. Hi, Shinya.
became bad after
It's still pretty bad.
club. We are family.
Yeah, I think Persis, you can just take over and talk about how the Alumni Association offers and how people can apply. Because I think Shinya's internet is just not working.
Okay, I will just continue on from where Shinya left off. So as he mentioned, the Z Club, we are all family, and we definitely want to keep all of you still connected and involved with us. And as we heard, we know that Meet the Investor session is one of the things that you guys really love and have benefited from. So we really welcome all of you to join the Alumni Association starting from next year. So some of the benefits to joining the Alumni Association is that you will have unlimited access to join Meet the Investor sessions, whether they are live in Singapore or anywhere in the world that you are in, and of course you are able to access the online Meet the Investor sessions as well. You also have access to the club's future recruiting opportunities, and we will be doing a yearly digital yearbook as well, so you will also receive a copy of that. So some of the membership requirements are you must be alumni members of the club, and please also provide us with an annual update of your personal status, such as your employment or your academic status, whether or not you're pursuing further education or whether you've changed a job, these kind of updates. So for membership fees wise, for the first year, it is free for all of you. But from the second year onwards, if you are a working adult, then you will have to pay the annual membership fee of 100 Singapore dollars or 500 renminbi, or the equivalent of that. And if you are still a student alumni, you will just pay an annual membership fee of 50 Singapore dollars or the equivalent or the RMB $250. So for the annual contribution for the alumni, you have to be a research mentor. So help the current active members to write an initial memo at least once, or you can also volunteer to be a bootcamp lecturer. So teach at least one module during the bootcamp. And in addition, we will waive your membership fees if you volunteer for either of these. And you may also receive a token of appreciation if you're a bootcamp lecturer. Yeah, so these would be the requirements and the benefits of joining the Alumni Association. And we really look forward to all of you joining us and coming on board. So without further ado, this brings us to the final agenda of the ceremony tonight. And let's welcome Tiffany, the co-founder of Next Gen Investors Endowment, for a closing speech. Tiffany, please.
Thanks, Persis. Hi, everyone. So you are the third batch of students that graduated from Generation Z Investment Club. Probably also the most special batch because of the pandemic. The unprecedented situation forced us to move everything online. I think when a lot of you first applied, you were looking at photos of our members traveling in Japan, traveling in Hong Kong, etc. But we couldn't offer the same to your batch because of COVID. But nonetheless, we hope you still enjoyed meeting professional investors through Zoom, or at least for Zhenqing and the people in Singapore's case, you get to at least join some of the meet the investor live sessions. I hope you also enjoyed making friends with your like-minded peers, not just at where you are, but globally. I hope you enjoy managing your own endowments. That's a really special experience that I did not have when I was in university. And of course, growing as an investor. So Zhenqing, Yuyang, Gladys, and Ivan, you four are the ones that I have the privilege to actually meet in person. And I was thoroughly impressed by your passion and knowledge in investing. I have always enjoyed Zhenqing's stock pitch. I find him a true contrarian and value investor, and I hope you stay this way. Yang has always been a very serious learner that not only listens attentively, but also asks great questions. Gladys, I find her always full of energy. And on top of that extraordinary energy, she's motivated and work hard towards her goal. And I was very lucky to be a teammate of Ivan at the beginning of his journey with our club. He's very responsible and hardworking, and I still cannot believe he managed to survive discussing investments with us in Chinese. Bill, Demi, Zhang Kai, and Carson, I cannot believe I have not met you in person after 2 years. But thankfully, Jinya is in Shanghai and gets to spend time with you. And he's also about to visit KL, Malaysia. So I feel a little less guilty about not having to meet you, but hopefully we will be able to meet in the near future. And even just through online interactions, I know that we made the right decision on member selection. All of you have been extremely valuable to the club, and I cannot be more grateful for your contributions. Zhang Kai and Carlson, thank you so much for taking out the leadership of Greater China chapter. Without you, we will not be able to keep things going. I have always found Zhang Kai low-key, but very sharp in opinions, and Carson someone who is really adventurous and full of ideas. You two are very complimentary as co-CIOs, so I'm really glad that you have led us over the last year in making our investments. Bill, I have heard many great things about you from your peers. Everyone found you to be very insightful and passionate. I also really enjoyed the industry and company analysis. I have learned a lot from them. Thank you. Demi, you are gentle, but powerful. We don't have as many women as we wish in the value investing program, but I do truly believe that you embody the resilience of a great female investor. Going. We know that your time with the club is not all rosy, because there were lots of trial and errors on our part, building the brand and developing the curriculums. And it has been a challenging 2 years for you to juggle schoolwork, internship, and ZCLub activities, but you have done so well. Despite the extreme volatility in 2021 and 2022, you've managed to continue to outperform the S&P 500. I know we have a down year, but it's still better than the index. You have strengthened the foundation of ZCLub, allowing us to expand the program and attracting more and more attention and support from the investor community. You have left a lasting legacy for our future members, and you are the real heroes behind Z Club success. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for learning and growing together with you. You are just absolutely amazing. Now it's time for you to move on to the next stage of your life as an investor. I wish you an everlasting thirst for knowledge, a jubilant truth-seeking spirit, and a visionary mind. Congratulations on your graduation. We will always be here for you whenever you need us. Thank you, and Happy New Year in advance.
Thank you so much, Tiffany, for your closing speech. And with that, we have come to the end of our graduation ceremony. So we look forward to seeing all of you once again. So let's stay back for a group photo together.